Ben, can you tell me what the process would be from start to finish, from the client recognizing that they need support with mobility and a vehicle to actually having it delivered and for them to be introduced to the vehicle and shown how to use it? What would that total process look like, please?
I would imagine most customer journeys will start with them probably searching Google for a wheelchair accessible vehicle. They would probably come across our website, which we've got a full range of the vehicles on there. We've got 360 tours, so you can actually go inside the vehicle and see it from the point of view of traveling in your wheelchair. You can get background idea of what's available. And then what people will do at that point, whether they go through Google or not, or whether they've got a number elsewhere, they'll give us a call, and we've got a team of trained mobility advisors in our call centre that will talk them through questions that we mentioned earlier. So they'll go through relevant questions around what kind of things they're going to be using the vehicle for, if they carry any extra equipment, how many people they'll be carrying, what type of area they live in, and their access points, whether they're looking at electric options or diesel or petrol engine. So go through quite a few questions to make sure that they've got all the information we need. We would then send it down to one of our mobility specialists out on the road, who would then call the customer and go through a bit more detail about things like type of wheelchair that they've got, size of the wheelchair, and just probably touch again on the usage of the vehicle. And then we would arrange a date to bring a vehicle out. We would bring a vehicle out on a date that suits the customer and try them out in the vehicle. If it's at someone's house, then we would advise that whoever's going to be helping them with the vehicle would be there. If it's a care provider, then again, we normally do it where there's a number of carers there so they can all get an idea of how it will work. We do a full demonstration and go out for a drive, make sure that everyone's comfortable with driving the vehicle and obviously travelling in it. If that vehicle's not suitable, then we can discuss other options and repeat the process with a different vehicle. If it is suitable, then we can complete the paperwork with customers. So we do all the Motability paperwork. We talk through how that scheme works. All of our staff are Motability accredited, so they can go through everything to do with the scheme. And then once the order's placed, we would get the car converted. We deliver it down to the customer's address. We then provide
clients actually seeing the car before they bought it. They're seeing your version of the Motability vehicle, and then have a little trial of it, and then actually make their minds up after that. Gotcha.
Yeah, so whether they do that on the day that we visit, or whether they do it a day or a week or a month after, or 2 months even, and then once the vehicle's ordered and ready to deliver to the customer, we'll arrange a date that suits them to deliver it down. We do another full demonstration again when it's delivered, because there can be a bit of a time gap. Sometimes it's a week, sometimes it can be a couple of months. So we almost do like a refresher when we deliver the vehicle, and then go through everything on handover, and then we revisit normally within the next 4 weeks just to check that everything's running smoothly and everything's going okay. But we're always like the guys that are out, the Motability specialists that we've got out on the road, they're always at the end of the phone. So if anyone's ever got a question or a problem, they can always give us a call. We've got the full backup of a customer service team at head office that can help with any issues. Like I said earlier, with the servicing, we've got a full team of mobile techs, as we call them, that can go out. If there's any servicing need or any issues with any vehicle, they can go out and help with that. So we try and make the process as straightforward.
Ben, I was going to say there's literally no eventuality that hasn't been covered really in the process. So you must have a very high sort of satisfaction rate because everything's taken into account. There's nothing you really haven't taken into account, all the way from choosing what sort of car is the appropriate car, actually being able to view it, then the process from your choice to delivery of the actual vehicle, and then after sales service, everything is the highest levels of service that you could possibly expect, really.
Yeah, we touch base with customers at various points during that process. We also, once the car's delivered, we contact the customer the day after delivery to make sure they were happy with it, the delivery of the vehicle, and that everything's what they expected. I think we've got a 4.7 Trustpilot score at the moment, that's sort of an external sort of survey, which we really value from the customer feedback that we get. So we want all of our customers to be really happy with the full service and make it as easy as possible for them.
And actually, before I come to you, Rebecca, Ben, just what's the quickest you've ever done a car from first inquiry to actual delivery of the car that you can
We've
think of?
probably got, I would imagine the quickest time, depends on the car that customer's looking at, but the quickest we've probably ever done is probably turnaround time of about a week.
Yeah.
For a new vehicle. If we've got, we do sometimes have vehicles built and ready in stock, so we can supply vehicles quite quickly. It does depend on what the customer needs, because it might be that they need something a bit more specific and it takes a little bit longer to get that vehicle in or to build it. But generally, we've got probably the quickest delivery times on the market, I would say.
Yeah. Rebecca, obviously Ben's explained the process for buying a WAV, and obviously the guidance that any client and support that any client gets throughout that whole process, and even after purchase and servicing and breakdown. And as you said, everything apart from the fuel is taken care of. How does the rental process compare to the purchase process? It must be quite similar, but do you get a chance for it to be as comprehensive as the sale process?
Yeah, so we look after customers from either whether they phone us in directly to the hire team, or they fill out a form looking to inquire about pricing and vehicles. My team are specialised in dealing with these inquiries, just like Ben's team. So they make sure they speak to the client fully and make sure that they understand exactly what the client needs. We have a fleet of these vehicles ready to go on hire. So what we'll do is we'll ask questions about what the customer needs. So whether it's seating, wheelchair position, how many people do they have with them? What do they like to do when they're out and about with the vehicle? What kind of wheelchair position do they prefer in the vehicle? And also we ask all about the size of the wheelchair and any equipment they might have, because if we have a customer that needs a vehicle for a week, it's really important that we get that, because if it's wrong and the customer only has it for a week, it could eat into their time that they have that vehicle. So we fully qualify the customer's requirement before we then match them with a vehicle that's going to suit their needs. We arrange to deliver and collect. Like I said, we do that throughout the whole of the UK, and our drivers are fully versed on making sure that they do a full demonstration of the vehicle on delivery. So we take payment from the customers. We have the ability to do that remotely, so we don't have to have the customers in front of us. When we do all of that, we send them all the information on their hire, and we make sure that before they get the vehicle, that they're fully happy with everything and what we've agreed. And they also get to see a brochure of the vehicle that we've agreed, so that they get to see exactly what they're going to be using for the duration of their hire. So we have, if it's a longer term hire, we're able to use a mobile tech service. We service their vehicles on site, so they're not losing out in hire days while they have their vehicle attended to. And of course, we have the support. So if there's any issues that happen with the vehicles, we can send that team out to see them and help them out.
How many vehicles might you have out on hire at any given time?
Over 100, and they range from the north of Scotland to the south of England.
Yeah. Amazing. Are all the cars set up for the user to remain in their wheelchair, or do some of the cars involve a transfer from wheelchair to car seat?
They're all set up for the wheelchair user to travel in their wheelchair. However, the position in some of our vehicles with the wheelchair can be beside the rear seat. So some, depending on what the wheelchair user prefers, they can transfer over into that rear seat. We also have drive-from vehicles and up front passenger vehicles where the wheelchair user can sit up at the front, or they can dock and lock their own wheelchair into the driving position and drive the vehicle themselves.
So just to elaborate on that, a dock and lock is like a restraint system where there's a pin attached to the bottom of a wheelchair and a clamp in the floor, so that it gives someone the ultimate amount of independence, where they can literally just, normally with a power chair, drive into the vehicle, lock into place without having someone else put the restraints on. On those vehicles, we put an electric ramp and tailgate and back, so the push of a button, everything closes up and they can drive away. We do offer the option of internal transfer on one of our vehicles as well. What that involves is someone driving a chair or going into the sort of middle of the vehicle, and the driver's seat would then come backwards and spin round. They could then transfer off that seat into the driver's seat. That would then spin round and go back to the driver's seat. So they could drive from a standard car seat that's just been adapted, so they can make an internal transfer a lot easier.
Sure. And you mentioned, was it the dock and lock system for securing the wheelchair? Obviously, one of the key aspects will be the safety in securing the wheelchair to the same extent that any car seat would be. But is that pretty much the rule, that any wheelchair is as securely fixed to the car as any car chair would be?
Yeah, so all of our vehicles go through extensive testing before we bring them to market, and that's part of that is testing the restraint systems in the vehicle as well to make sure they're fully secure they're fully secure wherever they travel.
We talk to customers about the weight of their wheelchair so that we can talk about all of that, and that's to do with the safety of the vehicle and the safety of the restraints.
Those wishing to buy a vehicle or to rent a vehicle, is it possible to book a home demonstration? And
For all of our mobility customers, yes, we can. For all customers, we can. We can offer a demonstration, whether it be 1 or 2 vehicles, depending on how long it takes to work out what's going to work best. We try and go through what the customer would need before we bring a vehicle out, so that we make sure we bring something out that's going to work for them. But yeah, we do nationwide. We cover all of the mainland in the UK and also Northern Ireland as well. Plus, go to places like the Isle of Wight and the Isle of Man. So we cover all over.
For the higher side of things, we do a full demonstration on delivery. So that's a home demonstration that's done on the delivery of the vehicle, which means that the pre-booking criteria that we follow is spot on, so that we make sure that when the time comes that we deliver the vehicle out, that it's the right vehicle that they need.
at the point in time that the client decides, okay, they'd like to have a demonstration of the car, will they have committed financially to making a purchase at that point, or?
No, not at all. So we offer free demonstrations nationwide, and we don't charge for them. If the first demonstration doesn't work, we try to make sure it does, but if it doesn't, then we'll bring out another vehicle. There's no pressure on the customer whatsoever. It's to just try the vehicle out and make sure it's going to be suitable. The most important thing for us is that the vehicles that we're supplying are suitable for the customers that we're supplying them to, and that the customers are comfortable and happy with the environment and the process that we work to. So if something's not right, or they're not quite ready to order a vehicle, then there's no pressure for them to do that.
How would a caregiver, someone who's supporting the person in the wheelchair, help to ensure that the wheelchair is secure in the car? Presumably there's sort of fail-safe mechanisms for that.
So when the restraints are placed on the wheelchair, you put the 2 front ones on, so they're on reels that sort of come out of the vehicle. So you attach those to the wheelchair before you start going into the vehicle. There's a button that locks them, so as you're going in, it wouldn't affect it so much in a power chair, because that would probably go in on its own steam. But if you're using a manual chair and someone pushing the wheelchair into the vehicle, those front restraints are locking as you're going in. Then once they're in the vehicle, we then attach the back restraints behind the wheelchair, hook them onto the back corners, and then as you tighten those, they make the front ones even tighter, so you get a really solid feel. The wheelchair won't move at all when you're traveling.
Understood. And can you speak whether a client is buying or WAV? Can you speak to people's experiences before and after of the impact it's had on their lives? Presumably, there's lots of people for whom having a wheelchair accessible vehicles literally turn their life upside down in a good way.
Yeah, it's probably the best thing about our job. We're changing people's lives, and we're making their lives a lot easier, I would say. It means that they can go out and do everyday things that most people take for granted. And it is when you go and see a customer after they've had a new car delivered and have had it for 4 weeks, and you just check and see how everything's going, they start telling you what they've been doing and where they've been. And it's the best part of our job, it's doing that, seeing the change that it makes to customers' lives. And we have some of our customers very kindly do testimonials for us that are available on our website, that you can see stories, how the impact that having a wheelchair accessible vehicle has made on their lives. But yeah, it's without doubt, it's the best part of the job and what everyone up here does it for.
A lot of our customers, there's a lot of doors closed for them, and to be able to work with them to open some of those doors again, the best thing about what we do, without a doubt.
presume, Rebecca, that lots of people who rent a car are doing so they can get away on a trip, going on holiday, whether it's in the UK or maybe even to France or whatever. So I suppose that you're fulfilling their need to get away.
Yeah, we had, to give you an example, last week we had an email and it was a gentleman who he'd managed to get his 92-year-old mum out. He sent a picture of her in the vehicle in her wheelchair, and it was the first time in so long that she'd been out. We have stories like that all the time, but it's not always just to go on holiday. It's literally for things that you don't think about because of the public transport. They're not set up for people that are in wheelchairs. So just to attend the appointment, physio session, it can be as simple as that. And they've been let down. Maybe they thought that they were going to be picked up and taken somewhere, but that's not happened. So for them to rent and to be able to do these things, it's hugely important to them.
It could be something as small as popping around like a relative or a friend's house for tea. You know, things like that I don't appreciate how challenging that can be if it's not really close access for them. So it's the big things like holidays, but it's also the little things as well that I think make the biggest impact.
What are some of the most common misconceptions that clients come to you with, or potential clients come to you with, about wheelchair accessible vehicles?
I think that they're difficult to drive, that they're really big and clunky and basic, I think, is for the type of vehicle that they are. I think that's some of the things that people would think about a wheelchair accessible vehicle before they've actually viewed one properly.
Historically, these were built
on the issue of size. Most people do think that they'll be ending up driving a big old Mercedes van. Is actually one of the common misconceptions that we see as well. But sorry, Ben, carry on.
I was just saying that kind of ties in with that. I think people think from past WAVs, so 10, 20 years ago, they were big, lumpy vans and things like that. They're now a lot more refined. We design all of our vehicles as little touches that we do. So when we lower the floor, you have to slice the bumper slightly. So you'll see a lot of wheelchair accessible vehicles on the road that have got a section of the bumper missing where the floor's been cut out and lowered. We replace the bumper and we reattach it to the tailgate. So when the boot's shut, you've got like a seamless join in the bumper. It's little things like that. And from what customers say to us, it's things like that customers appreciate because they don't want to be advertising that they're driving around in a wheelchair accessible vehicle.
We have reverse cameras, parking sensors, Bluetooth, Apple CarPlay, tinted windows. These are things that people probably don't expect in wheelchair accessible vehicles, but we want to make sure that they're as high a spec as a standard car that you can drive on the road with a car.
Yes, so desirable vehicle to drive.
Yeah.
What sets Allied Mobility apart from some of the other wheelchair accessible vehicle companies out there, would you say?
We've been converting vehicles for over 30 years, so we're specialists in this field. We do things like when we're converting vehicles, we have focus groups where we invite our end user customers to give their feedback and to tell us what they would like, because ultimately we can talk about what we think is right in a vehicle, but it's our customers that need to feel comfortable in them and it's our customers that are using them. So we do things like that. Our team are fully trained and specialists in making sure that the vehicle's the correct vehicle for our customers. It's what we do. And we always put customers first from the top to the bottom of the organisation. We're a family-run business still. So everybody is in on making sure that our customers are top priority all times.
What is homestay vehicle servicing?
So it's what we touched on before, where the wording says it all really. It's where you can stay at home while your vehicle's serviced. You don't have to take it anywhere. We don't take the vehicle away from you. We'll come to your home address at a time that suits you and we'll complete a full service outside your house. So you're not having to lose the vehicle. With a standard car, you could take it into any sort of Toyota or Peugeot dealership and they could give you a courtesy vehicle. Unfortunately, with wheelchair accessible vehicles, main manufacturers aren't going to have options to give to customers while their vehicle's off the road. We we come to the houses, we do it there so that it minimises any downtime of you losing your vehicle. Even a day without a vehicle means someone can't get out of the house for a day, whereas we'll be there for an hour or two and we'll get a full service done and a safety check done on all the adaptive parts as well.
Thanks for allied mobility in terms of the service and the products that you're providing to the clients that need it.
We're constantly looking to improve. There's a lot of things that are changing in markets at the moment. We have vehicles moving over to electric, different options that manufacturers are bringing out. We want to make sure that we've got a vehicle that suits everyone's need. So we're constantly looking at new vehicles that we can offer, but also vehicles that we do offer, how we can improve those and make them better with the customers and that we've got. So I suppose continuous improvement.
When you look at what we did 30 years ago as a wheelchair accessible vehicle to what we're doing now, I'm sure that when we come back in another 30 years, that it will be completely different to what we're doing now. It's about making sure that we're always on the move and making sure that we've got the best options.
The best contact number for us is 0800 587 9610.
Brilliant. Thank you.
You can also, on the website, you can do a web form and we can call you back.
It's been really enjoyable speaking to you, Ben and Rebecca, today. We've learned a lot, actually. And it's clear that you do a brilliant job for your clients and service levels are amazing. And thank you very much for spending time with me.
Thank
Sorry.
you.
Take care.
See you later. Take
Bye.
care. Bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Lovely to see you guys. Thank you very much.
That's all right.
Thanks so much.
So, speak to you soon.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye.